Hey Don, how's it going? Thanks for doing this. Just getting ready for Georgia. What's the biggest challenge they bring, and are you guys fully healthy for tomorrow? As in, is Destiny back?
We are all back. Destiny probably won't play tomorrow, um, but she's back. She's in practice today. Georgia, Georgia is much improved. They've already they always play hard, but they're playing hard. I think they're probably as healthy as they've been in a few years. Um, their ability to get up and down the floor and play fast and transition could put us back on our heels if we're not, if we're not getting back. Obviously, we do want to rebound the basketball, but for those players who aren't going to rebound the ball, they have to get back and set up our transition defense. They like high-low action. They got players in each position that are seniors that have been in our league for a long time. They know how to win. Um, I think it's good to have this type of game at home, though, even with the scarce crowd and the white noise.
Greg and then Keith.
Hey, Don, you've just talked about this being a young team and maybe having to be a little bit more hands-on this year. I was just curious, what with Kentucky coming up Sunday, if you've talked to them about not looking over Georgia, not looking past them.
No, Kentucky hasn't come up in our conversations. I think this is a team in which they are in the moment with every sense of being in the moment. They have no clue that's what's going to happen next week or Sunday or or March, April, no clue. And I think that's a gift and a curse because you tend to not see the big picture.
Keith and then Brandon.
Hey, Coach, two questions. One, with three games this week and some starters playing heavy minutes in this next game before Kentucky, obviously you want to win, but how do you balance out the minutes or monitor the minutes for some of your starters? And then second, after Aaliyah comes off a career game, she and LA combined to go 3 for 17 from the field. How are you addressing that in practice?
We're at a place where we got to win basketball games, and that requires our starters to play heavy minutes, and they got to play heavy minutes. And as far as Aaliyah and LA, it is what it is. At this point, they have to figure out how to make layups. They got to figure out how to stay on the floor. They got to figure out how to continue to be productive on the offensive side of the ball. It's probably more psychological than anything. So, we have to work through that. But, at the same time, what I'm truly proud of, I don't know if we would have been as sharp as we are with her and with Aaliyah and LA not being as productive offensively. So, it's a good sign that everybody else can pick up around them. That is our journey and our process. When we're able to get everybody, hitting on all cylinders, I think we'll be a really great team to be reckoned with.
Do you feel like maybe LA is just still going too fast, that the game hasn't fully slowed down for her, that she's rushing some of these?
Last year, people probably thought the game was slow to her. Now she's figuring it out. I told her after our game on Monday that she is still knocking off the rust. This is her first complete year, and it's just half of the year without her brace. So she's figuring things out. I have the utmost confidence in LA, but unfortunately, we have to utilize these games for her to get some experience under her belt. And they're top level games where, you stand out if you're not, solid and scoring a basketball, or you're late on some defensive assignments. But all in all, I have the utmost confidence. I'm not, we're not fretting the fact that, she hasn't really played her basketball. We're going to see a lot of more up and down play from her until things just kind of smooth out and, she gains some familiarity with being out there on the court bracelets.
Brandon and then David.
Hey, Coach, this is Brandon Sudge over in Athens. So I wanted to get your perspective on your bond that you have with Joni Taylor. I mean, obviously, I know that Darius was on your staff at South Carolina and then at Temple as well. But how have you guys kind of been there for each other over the years? I know a lot of your core philosophies about helping your players in life over basketball is of utmost importance. Can you kind of share what the bond y'all have means to you, and some of your favorite memories there, I guess?
Okay. I mean, Joni stole our man. And Darius, but they make a tremendous couple. When both of them were just starting a date and it was getting pretty serious, obviously Darius told me, and they were kind of splitting time with him being here and her being in Athens. And I know at some point it was going to happen. So, I mean, we have that, Joni would come around and Joni would spend some time with us as a staff, and we go on like staff retreats. So, we've known her for a long time, and we consider her family. And I think what she's done at Georgia is quite incredible. And I think the future is bright for her as a coach because she keeps things in perspective. It is a lot bigger than basketball, but she also knows the demands of coaching at this level and having to win. So she applies that pressure to herself and her staff. And I think she got through some years in which she wasn't at full strength as far as her team being healthy. I know she was pregnant for 1 year, and one that I admire because she coached right up into her pregnancy, and then she was back, I don't know, 3 weeks later, a month later, and it shows you the strength of who she is as a person, as a woman, as a parent, and as a coach.
David and then Keith.
Donna, you've mentioned several times about the missed layups through the games this year. And it's kind of like what Brandon asked, with the men's practice squad being off campus right now, how much has that played an effect in some of these missed layups, considering they're not around in practice to really make it hard on the team there?
Well, I wish we could hang our hat on them having to do so many reps, but this problem has occurred, throughout having our practice guys. And I just think sometimes we really can't simulate the proximity that teams are really playing our players. The practice guys really, they're cautious because they don't want to hurt anybody. We're cautious because, we don't want to get hit by LA's elbow or Leah's girth. I mean, so it's figuring out that happy medium of understanding what teams are doing to them. They're scheming. So a lot of what we do is we watch film just to show them what's happening out there. We just watch every single missed layup, from our post players to our guards. And sometimes when, you're actually in that moment, you're not seeing it. So we're going to make it a visual for them to understand if it's a makeable shot. If not, they need to kick it out. So they have to, instead of us beating them up like we get beat up, because we don't want to injure anybody, but we certainly have to simulate those situations one way or the other through film or just on the court, just maybe slowing down to get them to work their footwork techniques.
Keith, and then we'll end it with Greg.
Coach, so piggybacking off of that, free throw shooting, when some players get in a slump, it's more mental than anything else. But, you've obviously got 2 or 3 players kind of struggling from the line. Does that become when does that really become concerning with the conference schedule? And obviously, you know, players probably not shooting them as well on the road as they do at home.
I mean, obviously, it's something that we look at, and we don't want to, you know, jinx it by adding more just psychological block to them. Here's how we combat that. We got to defend. That's how we have to combat missed layups, poor free throw shooting. We have to defend, because if we're coming up empty in those areas, then we got to force other people to come up empty on, you know, their opportunity to score the ball and shoot the ball.
Greg?
Hey, Dawn, I was just wanted to go back to something you said the other night about Zaya and how coachable she is, and getting down to like the level of detail of even, you know, the difference between a Nike ball and a Wilson ball like you guys. I was just curious, is that something that you've had with other guards before, like Ty, or even going before that, or is this something new for you?
I mean, it's not new. I mean, I do have a connection with all of our players, but depth is something that a player has to be able to understand. Meaning, you know, there's some surface conversations that you could have, and for me as a coach, I'm always being the point guard and seeing how far can I go to not shake their confidence, but also how far I need to go to teach them that, you know, this can occur on this level, but at the next level, you know, it's not going to work. So as they get older in our system, you're able to have more depth conversations. Zaya is one that those conversations started early because, you know, she's not shy to say that she wants to be the best. And wanting to be the best, you got to hear some stuff that doesn't right. I mean, it rocks you, it shakes you, and it forces you to either face it, you know, or point the finger at something else. And she's not really that type of player that points the finger at somebody else. I think she wants to be the shot maker. She wants to be the playmaker. She wants to be the one with the ball in her hands and to make shots and you know, if the game's on the line, she wants that. And that's something that you have to practice and you have to own through the good and the bad and the ugly.